Our machine broke, did it?
No. Okay,
Hi,
here we are
everyone.
again for coffee, no coffee, and conversation.
Well, plenty of conversation.
Yeah, plenty of conversation, but we ran out of coffee.
Now, I know that you've had a few students that have come to you who, and I sort of can't believe people can't do this, but because I've done it all my life, but even people who are Irish or Welsh or whatever, who
Famous singing
actually
nations.
can't sing in tune or can't pitch anything from a piano or whatever. They have no idea about pitching. We call it tone deaf, but we don't really believe in that, do we?
I actually
We
don't.
certainly don't take that.
I don't now. I've taught several people to sing and to sing in tune who came to me saying, "Oh, I don't think I can sing. I think I'm tone deaf." But the clue is that they want to sing, and I think if someone wants to sing, there's got to be a capacity in there somewhere. So I worked with them, and indeed, I think one chap who was Irish and a Catholic.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe that he escaped music, but he did.
He did, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
he did. And
the
he was an
Irish
adult.
sing all the time.
Yeah, but somehow he missed out on all
wasn't
that.
it his family said that, well, they didn't have anything to do with music?
No,
they
well,
never sang?
I think.
he said,
He would have gone to church, but I think they lived on a farm somewhere, and they just weren't musical, so it wasn't in his environment. But he really wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And okay, so he was my first challenging student like that.
Yeah.
And it took time and it took awareness. But what I discovered was that singing and pitching are just like any other learning. They need neural pathways formed.
Yep.
They need the learning to become engraved. Now a lot of kids learn to sing after a fashion, at least in school or with their families, or
listening to the radio, whatever,
and they're
the
surrounded,
favourite
and
songs.
they learn to pitch. Now sometimes there's a physiological thing.
Yeah, it might be that their vocal folds just don't handle it, or
Well, usually
as
again,
well.
I've discovered that is more a case of usage. They might have only ever sung in their chest voice. Nowadays in primary schools, there seems to be this trend to have them want
Push.
to sing loud. And singing loud involves basically yelling, so they make them sing low and only from their
Push,
chest.
yeah.
And so a lot of kids don't even know that they have any other registers to their voice. So that, with some students, I've had to tackle.
knock out.
But anyway, the long story short, his first lesson, this chap, I think it took me 20 minutes to get him to pitch a note. And
You
to be
found
honest,
a note on the piano,
basically,
didn't
to be
you?
honest, I found the note that he was going to most often,
Yeah.
or closest. And we went out from there, and we just kept expanding his awareness and his range. And then we started working on his vocal awareness, because he couldn't learn to sing until he could learn to hear
it.
Now for
yeah.
him it was hearing and recognizing, and the process is one of hearing and then being able to reproduce it in the vocal folds. And of course, let's face it, as singers, our instrument is basically invisible.
Yep.
So
Can't
it's
see it.
all mental. So you can't press a key, you can't make a finger go somewhere and make a note that way. And I know with wind players and string players, there's an auditory component. They have to put the fingers in the right place. They have to use the lips in the right way.
Yeah.
But with singing, it's all invisible. It's all internal.
Yep.
So it took some time, but within a year, this chap had enough vocal skill to audition for and get into an amateur production of Pirates and Penzance, and he did fine. He was in the chorus, and he could sing it all, and we, rehearsed his part.
Yeah.
And that was his end goal, and he achieved it, and it was really lovely. And I've definitely taught probably about 5 other students who've come to me in that in that same state of really struggling.
But they wanted to, though,
Yeah,
didn't
they
they?
wanted
Really
to.
wanted to learn.
Yeah, they
I
wanted
mean, someone who couldn't be bothered, obviously, they're not going to take on the new neural pathways, as it were, to
Or the
actually,
learning.
all make the connections.
Actually, my first student who thought they were tone deaf was my father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh no, I'm tone deaf. I'm tone deaf." And I said, "Well, really? I don't think so." And it turned out what had happened was when his voice broke at school, suddenly, and this happens to a lot of boys,
Yep.
he'd gone from being a treble and expecting notes to sound in that in that register to suddenly being a baritone. And where he was shooting for the notes, it wasn't happening.
Yeah,
it wasn't
crack
working.
and-
Now, he didn't have the guidance. He was just told to be quiet.
Shut up, just
Yeah.
mime, Ken.
But he didn't have anyone to help him
Yeah,
to find this new voice. So if you've got boys whose voices are breaking, and they want to sing, do get them, especially once their voice settles. It might take a bit of learning, and it isn't a lot. It isn't a lot, to rejig
it's a readjustment.
and find that new voice.
Mm.
Anyway, so I worked with my dad, and I got him being able to sing. And that was
Oh.
before I met you.
Yeah, yeah.
He learned "If I Were a Rich Man,"
Oh,
which is
did
his
he?
favourite song, and a few others,
Yeah,
And with him, it really was literally that he just had never worked with this new voice, so he had no confidence in it. So I definitely believe that anyone who has a desire to, and the patience and the will,
Yep.
and the right guidance,
Mm.
can learn to
Yeah.
sing a tune.
Well, Kate's your go-to girl for anyone who wants to learn to sing. She's done some amazing things with people, and you have so many little quirky things that you do. The way you teach people, it's quite amazing to watch her. She doesn't just stick to one method. It's always finding out how to connect with that person, isn't it? It's always
because everyone's different.
Everyone's different,
Everybody-
so you
and everybody-
introduce new things to them all the time, don't you?
Yeah, because I think good teaching is about finding ways to help the student emerge.
That
and,
student,
Yeah,
yes.
that particular student, and to achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah,
And
not
so-
what is expected of a singer.
Well, yeah,
You know,
so
it's-
my goal is always,
What do they want?
I'm always listening for where we can go with it, not what's in front of me, but
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we can
Well,
go.
and that's another thing too, but we can talk about that later.
Yes, it's a segue.
Yeah, that's a segue. Anyway, thank you. I hope you enjoyed that conversation, and learning that people are really not tone deaf. It's just a matter of learning and physiology, of getting the brain to connect with the voice, and
then finding the
and
right
then finding the
placement
right
and-
placements and all sorts of things. It's quite a complicated method, but
Yeah, it's not simple,
It's
and
not
and
simple.
it certainly doesn't happen quickly. It takes patience,
yeah.
but it can happen. Definitely
Yeah,
can.
definitely can. So if you know someone who needs help, either come to Kate or find somebody who can actually have the patience to, correct them and put them on the right path to singing properly. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us today. We'll see you again on Coffee and Conversation, without the coffee. Bye for now.
Bye. For now. Bye.